Welcome to On the Vineyard. I'm Monica Brady-Meyerov, the publisher of the Vineyard Gazette Media Group on Martha's Vineyard. We're so glad you're here. On the Vineyard is sponsored by Crane Appliance. Summer kicked off this week with the opener of the MV Sharks baseball season and the opening of the West Tisbury Farmers Market this weekend. I'm excited because Firecat Farm will have their freshly picked strawberries on Saturday at the opening day of the Farmers Market. Coming up, the island immigrant community is still reeling from the arrest of an unconfirmed number of undocumented immigrants.
Some people are scared to go to work, no matter what their legal status is here in America. And it's something that, how do you kind of grapple with that? They're still trying to figure it out.
But first, last weekend, the island held a joyful and tearful celebration of the life of Ron Rapaort. He was a lawyer for 5 of the 6 towns on multiple community boards, and he died last June. The agricultural hall was packed, standing room only, as members of his family, co-workers at his law firm, friends and neighbors shared stories about Ron and his impact on their lives, both personally and professionally. Ron's brother, Alan Rapaort, organized the event.
As is clear, Ron touched every aspect of island life, and the response to his passing has been overwhelming and heartwarming. I tried to put together a list of all the places where he made an important difference, but that list kept going and growing. The town, the local commissioners, the steamship authority.
Ron was called the closest thing to an island mayor. He was also known as a social butterfly, rarely turning down an invitation, even if it meant event hopping on the same night. The celebration closed with Steve Ewing reading a poem he wrote for Ron, called Oak Bluffs Boy, Island Man, that places Ron at the helm of a ship steering toward shore.
The captain sidles up, shoves Ron a steaming cup, and checks his course, laughing at the risky set of it. As these chops green glow, lightly tints their cheeks, the captain moves to take his captain's seat. He says to Ron, "You go ahead and bring her in tonight." Ron smiling as he nears the land. Friends and family all at hand. His sage advice that served us once, in future will it gift us twice. For all his life, for Vineyard's sake, his legacy is up Bow Lake. Bless you, Ron, our honest friends. Forever will you steer again.
That's the sound of the historic press in the Vineyard Gazette offices in Edgartown printing the paper. That means it's time to go upstairs to the newsroom and check in with Bill Evell, the editor-in-chief, on this week's news.
This weekend is an exciting time on the island, as it always is this time of year. It is high school graduation weekend. The regional high school graduates on Sunday at the Tabernacle, starting at 1:30 p.m. Valedictorians this year are Ariana Edelman and Avery Mulvey. Gwen Skiles did a wonderful story on the two of them, who have been friends since they were 4 years old. The charter school also holds its graduation this weekend. That will be on Saturday at the school, beginning at 1 p.m. All right, turning now from the good news to Ethan Genter, who was following the story about the ICE arrest that took place last week and continued to reverberate all around the island. Ethan, I know you talked to politicians, you talked to some people affected more closely by the raids. What did you find out?
We're still finding out a lot about what happened. There's a lot of unknowns still. Politicians from local to the state house have all been asking ICE, release more information about what happened here. Who are the 40 people that we do and don't know? We do know one person who was arrested. It was somebody who had been indicted here in Dukes County Superior Court. He is wanted on charges of child rape. That case is still ongoing here in Dukes County. We're not sure if that will ever be resolved now. But yeah, there's still, like I said, so many questions remaining, people still wanting answers.
Yeah, the politicians aren't getting answers, and everyone on the island is getting answers, but of course it is affecting everybody, particularly on the work job sites.
The work job sites and a lot in the Brazilian community. I talked to several different folks, religious leaders, people who help Brazilian immigrants here on the island navigate the business community. And they said some people are scared to go to work, no matter what their legal status is here in America. And it's something that, how do you kind of grapple with that? They're still trying to figure it out. One poignant moment, I talked to a pastor, and he says people are scared to go to church, and this is kind of when people need help most, and he can't really get to them. They're too scared to go out.
Yeah, and we heard, anecdotally last week, people were not going to school as much. We don't know if graduation will be affected. Each day brings new fears or questions.
Yeah, and continuing, Bill Keating, our representative in Congress, like I said, he had reached out to ICE, the FBI, Homeland Security, and sent them a laundry list of questions about who was arrested, why were they picked out, what were the tactics here. He's kind of really pressing for more information. We'll see if any of these folks end up in court. We're starting to hear trickles about who some of these people are, but nothing has really officially come from the federal government yet.
Yeah, and rumors still bubble up that they're coming again or they've been here again, but as of now, we haven't seen them again, but we don't know what happens next. Yes,
like we have said in the past, they don't really televise their moves, and they'll be here when they're here, so we're still, or will this ever happen again? Tom Homan, the border czar, said Martha's Vineyard's part of America just like everywhere else, and we're going to be enforcing immigration law all across America. So will it happen again? I can't say, but they seem content that they're going to continue these kind of arrests in the future.
Do we know where they have taken people?
I've talked to a few people who have said that they've gone to Burlington. Some have been put in Plymouth. The one man who did have charges here on the island that we know of, he was in Stratford. So there seem to be a mix of places all over.
All right. Thanks, Ethan. Scary times. All right. So as I said, graduation is Sunday, something to look forward to and be filled with hope as these young students walk across the stage.
You can read more about these stories and all the news for free at vineyardgazette.com. And it's time to think about fresh seafood for the summer. And if you like a regular supply, it's time to sign up for the community-supported fishery with the Fishermen's Preservation Trust. It works just like a CSA from a farm. All of the fish you receive in your share comes from local fishing boats, who unload their catch in Menemsha, where it's filleted, flash frozen, and cryovac. I did it last year and loved it. 2 new restaurants opened on the Vineyard. The Maker Pasta Shop and Cafe in Vineyard Haven. Obviously, the menu includes lots of fresh pasta. And MV Tap, also in Vineyard Haven, in the prominent location of 5 Corners. It has lighted plastic palm trees out front, going for that island vibe. And everywhere you look in shops, there is Jaws merchandise. I've seen playing cards, puzzles, board games, socks, lunch boxes, and of course, T-shirts. Because the copyright for Jaws is held by Comcast NBC Universal, some shops steered clear of the official Jaws logo and have Amity Island merch, the fictitious name of the island that was terrorized by the fictitious shark. The 50th anniversary is coming up on June 20th. I'll keep you posted as it draws closer. And I noticed there are lots of shoppers on the island because summer people have arrived. I found this passage about summer people written by former Vineyard Gazette editor Henry Beadle Huff in his 1940 book, Country Editor. The season ran from June 15 to September 15, but there were many seasonal residents who were not limited to that period. Many came early and stayed late, either in their own or in rented houses. They were not simply city people in the country, but considerably more than that. They loved their homes in our town, the life they lived with us, and they identified their interests with ours. They had a hunger for the shore and the open places, which was not quenched by city living. Well, I'd say that's still true today. Our theme music is from island composer and musician Michael Hayden. If you like the show, please follow us so you won't miss an episode and give us a 5-star rating. Also tell a friend who loves the Vineyard. Thanks to our sponsor, Crane Appliance. Their appliance experts listen to your needs and help you choose the right appliances for your home. Crane Appliance, they call the Cape and Islands home. I'm Monica Brady-Meyerov. Thanks for joining us on The Vineyard. Talk to you next week.